Alright, so now today is the second day of factoring, and we're going to start factoring trinomials using the product sum method. So this first part is if a equals 1. This is the more simple version. So whenever you are doing this, you are going to find two numbers that satisfy the given product of c. Remember, c is the constant term, the one without an x in it, and the given sum b. So that you're saying what multiplies to be c and adds to be the b value. And then where you put the two numbers, when you find those two numbers, you put them in the blanks. So it'll be x plus something times x plus something, or you could have some negatives in there. So here's the first example. So I make these little x things. So I'm looking on this one, what adds to be 14 and multiplies to be 45. Since both of those numbers are positive, we are going to be looking for two positive numbers. So that looks like to me it would be 9 and 5. So when you do this, you would just have, well, the first way, I'm not going to just go straight to the shortcut. I'm going to show you why it works. So this is like x squared plus 9x plus 5x plus 45. And as you can see, I didn't change the expression at all. If you were to add 9x and 5x, it would still equal 14x. So all I did was break apart the 14x. And now let's factor by grouping. So that would be, you would factor out x. You would get x plus 9. Here it looks like you can factor out a positive 5. So then you would get x plus 9. So this would be x plus 5 times x plus 9. And that would be your answer. So as you can see, those are the same numbers that we got here, positive 9 and a positive 5. So if you wanted to skip the factoring by grouping step, I'm okay with it. But that only works whenever a is equal to 1, meaning that there's no number out here. So it's up to you. If you want to just stick with the factoring by grouping, it works every time. It's up to you. If you want to do the shortcut, do the shortcut. Here is the next one. We're looking for two numbers, so that add to -7 and multiply to be -30. If they're going to multiply to be a negative, you know you need a positive and a negative. And then whenever you add them together, if when you add two numbers together, this bigger sign is going to be negative for this one, so you're looking for the bigger number to be negative. So think what adds to be -7 multiplies to be -30. Well, that'd be -10 and 3. So if I just want to, I'm going to skip the factor by grouping step. If you want to do that, you can. So this is going to be x minus 10 times x plus 3. And, okay, on this one, since I have some room, I'm going to show you. So this is our answer, and you can distribute it out to check. So x times x is x squared, x times 3 is positive 3x, and this is us checking our work. -10 times x is -10x, and that would be -30. Combine your like terms. Looky there, you get the same expression that you started with, so we did it correctly. So if you're taking a test or a quiz and you want to check your work, that is an excellent way to do it. Okay, let's go to the next problem, letter C. This one we are going to see what adds to be -19 and multiplies to be 90. Well, we know that there's got to be a negative in there because we have a -19. But whenever we multiply them, it's going to be a positive, so that must mean we have two negatives on this one. That would be -9 and -10. So this one would be p minus 9 and p minus 10. Just in case you forgot, you can switch those around. The order does not matter because it's multiplication and it's commutative. Here is letter D. We're looking what adds to be 6 and multiplies to be -40. So that's going to be a positive and a negative because of the -40. And since that 6 is positive, you know your bigger number is going to be 6. Well, I believe it is 10 and -4. So this would be n plus 10, and then n minus 4. Okay, so that was when a equals 1. Now let's go, so when a does not equal 1, you have to do 2 more steps. It's really not that bad. So first you have to find the 2 numbers that satisfy the given product a times c, and then the given sum b. And then you have to write it as a 4-term polynomial and then factor by grouping. So on this one, the biggest thing that people, so you're looking for what adds to be the b term and multiplies to be the a times c terms. A lot of people, their mistake is they forget to do this piece right here, the a times c. They go strictly to the c because that's what they're used to on the simple ones. Don't make that mistake. So we're looking what adds to be -5 and multiplies to be, what would that be, 126. So it might take you a little bit, but it's actually 14 and 9 are the 2 numbers. And so we're looking for a positive and a negative. Oh, I'm sorry, we're looking for 2 negatives. So, no, we're not. This should be a -126. I messed up. So it is a positive and a negative because we have a -126, and our bigger number is going to be negative because the b is negative. So this will be -14 and 9. So then let's write it as a 4-term polynomial. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 9x minus 63. It doesn't matter if you switch that -14 to 9x, doesn't matter. So now let's factor by grouping. So you're going to factor out a 2x, and we come out with x minus 7. Here we're going to factor out a positive 9, so x minus 7. Good, our parentheses match up, so this is going to be 2x plus 9 times x minus 7. Good, and okay, let's go to the next one. So first, let's see, can we factor anything out of all 3 terms? Unfortunately, no, we cannot. So let's just get after it. So we're going to see what adds to be 28 and multiplies to be 180. Oh, this one. It's going to be 2 positives because all of the numbers are positive. So this would be 10 and 18. So it'll be 3p squared plus 10p plus 18p plus 60. Let's factor them out. What do we got? So we can factor out, just a p there. So that gives you 3p plus 10. And then here we can factor out a 6. So a positive 6, so this would be 3p plus 10 here. So our final answer is p plus 6 times 3p plus 10. Ooh, this one we can factor out. What do you notice anything right off the bat? They are all divisible by 5. So let's do that so we're working with much smaller numbers. So we are going to have a 5. I'm not just going to hang out on the outside, that's fine. So that would be 3k squared minus 11k minus 70. Okay, so we're looking to see what adds to be the -11. Don't pay any attention to that 5, but don't leave it off because then that changes the whole problem. But it's just going to float out there and not bother anyone. So it adds to be -11 and multiplies to be -210. So a positive and a negative, and your bigger number is going to be negative. I believe it's -21 and 10. So again, we're not forgetting about that 5. So we have 5 parentheses, 3k squared minus 21k plus 10k minus 70. Then let's factor by grouping. There's a lot of parentheses in this problem, that's okay. So we'll have 5 parentheses still. It looks like you can factor out a 3k parentheses k minus 7. And here we can factor out a positive 10. That'll be k minus 7. And close that other parenthesis. Now, so our final answer will be 5 times 3k plus 10 times k minus 7. And that is it. So one more thing, if you didn't factor out the 5 at the beginning, you could have, I don't know what 15 times 350 is, you could have factored it out and it would have, you would have gotten a different answer. It would have just taken you a lot more time. So whenever you're looking, first of all, you should always look, but especially whenever you have these bigger numbers like this, always see if you can factor something out because it's going to make your life so much easier. Okay, letter D, we've got, so we're going to see what adds to be 9 and multiplies to be negative 10. So a positive and a negative, and your bigger number is positive. Well, that would be 10 and negative 1, wouldn't it? So factor by grouping, which is my favorite. I find this so relaxing. You're probably thinking I'm crazy, and you're not wrong, but I still love this stuff. So let's go ahead and do it. So you can factor out a 2m. So that'd be m plus 5. Okay, how do we get this negative m minus 5 to look like m plus 5? Well, we got to factor out a negative 1. So that'll be m plus 5. Sweet, that's what we needed. So this will be 2m minus 1 times m plus 5. And that is your answer. And that's all for factoring day 2.